You know, Brian, agronomically, we're always looking for what's going to give us a good return on investment. Is it one more application of this or a little different timing on this? And you know, those things all vary depending on the weather conditions that happen in your season. If you get good weather, you're going to get a great response. If you get poor weather, you might not get as good a response. I want something I can always get a good return on my investment for. Where's the guarantee?
Yep, the guarantee comes when you prepay. Now, it's not a guarantee with every single ag product out there. So for example, you could prepay with fertilizer, you lock in your price, and the fertilizer market goes down in the spring. Do you get any price protection? No, none. Zero. Okay, so that's probably not a great thing to prepay for if you want an absolute guarantee. Now, I'm not saying fertilizer is a bad thing to prepay for. Most of the time when you buy your fertilizer early, most of the time you have a price advantage, and that's a great thing. All we're saying is it is a guarantee when you're buying mini pesticides and seed, because the chemical companies and the seed companies control that market. They're not pricing things like a commodity like the fertilizer market is. They're pricing things based on what the market will bear. And if they decide to lower the price, they'll actually go back and credit dealers back. So in other words, most dealers, make sure you talk to your dealer first, but most dealers will give you the lower price if the price goes down in March, even if you prepaid in December. That's a great thing, and it's a guaranteed deal.
Well, here's the other thing though, Brian. We get a lot of people that say, well, wait a minute. If I prepay my chemicals, for example, then I get a spring like 2011, and I wanted to plant all this corn, and I bought all this harness ahead, and now all of a sudden, here we are going in with beans. What do I do now?
Well, here too, you have to talk to your dealer up front. Most dealers that you deal with, as long as you talk to them up front, they will allow you to switch products on pesticides or on seed. No problem, you're still going to get the early price. And let's talk a little about the return on investment side. Okay, let's say you have to go borrow money, all right? Let's just say you're borrowing at 5 and you're getting 12% APR. So you're gaining 7% on an APR basis. If you prepay 6 months in advance, you gained 3.5%, okay? If you're spending, let's call it $100,000 on the farm for seed and chemical, you gain 3.5%, that's $3,500 net. That's even figuring the interest out that you had to pay the bank, $3,500. All for doing what? Writing a check out 6 months in advance.
Well, again, Brian, it really doesn't matter. You're going to buy these inputs. If there's a chance for you to buy them for a little less money just by paying a couple months early, hey, that's a good deal.
Yeah, typically what we're finding is if you wait to buy your products in the spring, you're going to pay at least 1% per month more, and maybe even more than that. Some years it is more than that. So you want to buy early, that's a good thing. The other side, when you look at return on investment, is the tax benefit. For you as a farmer, you get cash accounting, okay? So if you spend $100,000 more money, let's say, in this year as opposed to next year, you get that $100,000 deduction this year. Now, all that's doing is delaying your tax bill. It's not escaping tax or anything. But even if you delay your tax bill 1 year, you get to use that $100,000 for 1 year. Okay, so what's that worth to you? What's opportunity cost of money? 4%, 6%, whatever you want to figure. The point is you got an extra $4,000 or $6,000 on your $100,000 because you get to use the money for a year. So that's a benefit. The other side of things is there are some financing offers that don't cost you anything that are 0% interest. Like BASF, I just found out, is going to have another deal this coming year, just like they have the last couple of years. It's 0% financing. All you need to do is buy a couple of their products at certain dollar amounts, and there's no cost. No cost to the dealer, no cost to the farmer. We've done it on our own farm because I'll gladly take free money. That's just their way of getting more of their products sold and getting them sold and committed early, so I'm taking advantage of it.
Well, you know, when you look at all the things you can do on the farm, we look at them in terms of return on investment. If we're going to invest our time and our money into different things, we want to do that where it's going to give us the most profit back to our farm. Prepaying inputs is one of those things that pays every year.
It's a great thing, but just be careful where you're prepaying the money to. You want to make sure it's somebody who's not going to be running off with your money, because honestly, what collateral do you have when you stop and think about it? You have to really trust the retailer that you're working with. And I don't mean to, be an alarmist or anything else, but just make sure you're putting your money in a safe place.
That's a good idea, Brian, because you may need that money to control our Weed of the Week. We'll show you how coming up next.